Hello and welcome everyone to my micro summit, Healing the Wounds and Creating Miracles. I am your host, Cindy Lybbert. And my guest today is Cheryl Thacker, who is a PCC, BCC, a Master Board Certified Coach and the founder of Successful Coaches Enterprise, who works with emerging coaches and solopreneurs to build their dream life and business. Coach Cheryl believes that every coach has a unique gift to present to the world, and it is her mission to help them gain the confidence, skills, and knowledge to master their business. In every aspect of her business and life, Cheryl's passion for helping others has always shined through. Utilizing her business background of 25 plus years and her extensive coach training, she is able to help coaches make a massive impact in the world while growing successful, sustainable, and profitable businesses. Hello, Cheryl, and welcome.
Hi, Cindy. How are you? That was a mouthful.
It was wonderful information. I'm so thankful to have you here.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Great. Well, the first question I would like to ask you is, what are the 6 core areas that every business needs but is lacking in most coaching and service-based businesses?
Okay. So there's 6 main areas. It's basically visibility, relationships, building systems, marketing, sales, and streams of income. Those are the 6 pillars, and it's important to have all 6 pillars. A lot of us have like pieces of it. We'll have 2 of them, maybe 3 of them, possibly 4, but we need all 6 to have a really successful business.
Wow, that's wonderful. So, yeah, when I think back, when I started years ago, I wish I'd had a coach to help me through those steps.
Yeah, it can get confusing, knowing what to do, when to do it, that kind of thing. And it's always good to have somebody that's been through it and that kind of has a system for it. So
yeah. And there's so much out there. It just sometimes it keeps pulling us in different directions. I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do. And then when you get into something and you pay for it, it's like, oh, I have to do this other thing first. It's like, would you like to break down any of those steps for us? Tell us a little bit pointers about it.
Yeah. So the checklist that you're going to talk about at the end, that actually has it all written out, but just kind of going through a couple things. When you look at like the first pillar there, the visibility, that's where you're basically showing up for yourself and your audience. So it's not just getting visible, in front of your prospective clients, but it's like getting visible for yourself, like thinking about your business vision, thinking about your mission statement. How do you want to be perceived? How do you want to create this business? What values are you going to, base it on? Things like that. That's that visibility piece where we're looking at ourselves, how we want to, be seen by others, and then how we want to show up for others. But of course, we have to show up for ourselves first. So there's self-care in there as well under visibility. A big part of it is that self-management, that self-care. So that's a really foundational one. It's the one that I like to tackle first, make sure those pieces are in place before we move to any of the other pillars. And then the second one is just about relationship building. So that's really knowing who your audience is or who you want your audience to be, and really getting clear on their pain points, on their wants, their needs, just really knowing your client avatar is what we call it. So just really knowing what that ideal client looks like for you. And then just starting to build a relationship. So getting out there, building up some rapport, touching base, showing up where they show up. So having to know where that is. Where does your ideal client show up? And then start showing up there and start building those relationships. And that might be through posting, videos, podcasting. Like there's a ton of different ways to start building that relationship before you ever even speak to them about working together, right? So these are kind of the pieces to get out there and seen before that step comes up. And usually you want to have some kind of an opt-in or a free report or something that you're able to give people so they get to start to know you and start to know how you think and what you do in your business. And that's a good way to do that, is through that opt-in. And then the third one is systems. And this is one that people get a little bit scared about or nervous about because, you know, they're like, oh, I don't want to have to go create systems for everything. But if you start out in the beginning with simple, like, how do you onboard your client? How do you set appointments with your clients? And how do you track like their time with you, either their successes, their goals, or whatever. If you can put those three things into a simple system, you will feel so much more organized, and you will be able to take on more clients, and you'll be able to keep up with everything. And you can build those other systems later on, but those three are really the first ones to really get set in the beginning. And then from there, from the systems, then you're able to look at, okay, I'm kind of set up to take on clients, and at least at a basic level, I've gotten visible out there. I've shown up for myself. And now I can start to market, and basically finding out what is your marketing message. And your marketing message is based on what your client avatar, your ideal client, what their goals are, what their pain points are, what their obstacles are. And you're able to build the marketing message around that and around the benefits that you provide, and the services and your unique solution, or your unique value proposition. Those are things that you want to look at next as far as building up that business. And then from marketing, we go to sales, and that's just basically creating a funnel that which is a client journey, right? So what does the client go through? What's the journey they have to go through in order to work with you? And then as they work with you, what's that piece of the journey like? So when we're able to create that funnel or that client journey, that will include different things. That will include okay, having a consult. What do you talk about in your consult? How do you conduct a consult? How do you ask for the sale? Because that's a really scary thing for a lot of people. Like they back off. They don't want to ask for the sale, right?
Yes.
And, and then it gets to be like, okay, you're just having these conversations. You're not asking for the business. So that's another real important part of this, the 6 parts, is really looking at how comfortable are you having a sales conversation? What do you include in your consult? What do you include when you ask for the business? And then what are the products that you're selling? Do you have 2 main products that you're able to present? And how do you overcome objections during that sales conversation? So those are kind of just the pieces of that sales pillar. And then the other streams of income is the last pillar. And it's basically where, how else are you able to, include your client in, or include you in their life or their business to help them? If you're doing one-on-one coaching, or if you are doing branding with somebody, or, whatever you're doing in your business, but what else can you involve them in or get involved with that can round out the relationship and also give you some income that's, where you don't have to be doing something all the time for that income. So having that passive income and then other streams to complement your business will give you a more rounded business, and also build out those relationships with your clients. So that might be something like, maybe you do, maybe you have a free Facebook group, and you do trainings in the Facebook group where all of them can come in and take part. Maybe it's about, consistently having your marketing message out there. So giving content value through your marketing efforts, those kind of things. And then of course, passive or self-study kind of courses, remote courses, things along those lines, reports, books, ebooks, all kinds of things that you can include in that, right? And sell kind of passively on a website or on a Facebook page or something like that. So once you're able to kind of incorporate the main pieces of that, then of course you can expand it out. And the checklist actually expands out all 6 pieces, so you can, all 6 pillars, so you can see the pieces of each one.
Oh, beautiful. I love how you mentioned self-care, because
Yeah.
we help so many people all the time that we forget about ourselves.
Yes,
That's very
absolutely.
important.
And or we work ourselves so much because well, I forget what the saying is, but entrepreneurs are the only people that'll work 60 hours to get away from a 40-hour a week job or something like that. And it's the truth, right? We'll work all day and all night,
Yes.
and and then we're tired and we're irritable and we're not taking care of ourselves. And how can you take care of clients if you're not taking care of yourself first? And then
Right.
what's the pull there? Like, you wanted to go into business for yourself for a reason. Is it to have more time, to spend more time with family, or to have more freedom? And you have to look at those reasons and say, okay, so I have to take care of myself in the process so that I'm fulfilling those reasons for being in business for myself. So
Yeah.
self-care, very important.
Yeah, that was a hard one for me. I had to learn. And then when I was pushing myself too hard and coming down sick, it's like, oh, I'm not taking care of myself. So
Yeah.
get back into the boat. Yeah, that's very important.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, how do you you mentioned a little bit about being visible. How do you get visible and stand out from the crowd and stay authentic?
Yeah. So that's important, right? We always have to be authentic, intentional, um, and ethical in everything that we do. But really, it's about finding your voice. That's really what's going to give you the best visibility, because those that are meant to work for you or work with you are going to be attracted to you when they hear your voice. So the language that you
Beautiful.
use, your stories, your inspiration, things that you've overcome in life. These are things that you want to get out there to start creating that visibility. And that's how you kind of structure it when you look at your like your just looking up your story, writing up your bios, um, telling in your sorry, when you start to reach out to people and you have an opt-in, people that opt into your list, you're starting to describe your story to them. You're describing it on different social media avenues. You're just getting it out there and saying, this is me, this is what I think, this is what I believe, this is what I've done, this is what I've overcome. Those are the easiest ways to start to get visible right there, because that's when people are going to start to interact with you, engage with you, and then you get to move on to the relationship building from there.
Mhm. Yeah, I remember when I first started out, being visible was very hard. I grew up very quiet and shy, so it took me a while to find my voice, and then to get on camera, it's like, no, thank you. It's like, just do it, just do it. I saw a poster one time, it was a man rock climbing, and it was huge mountain, a huge cliff. I mean, in the picture, you can look far down. If this guy fell, there'd be nothing left of him.
Oh,
And the caption said, feel the, feel the fear and do it anyway. It's like,
yeah,
yeah, if you're afraid to be on video, we're only human, so what? Do it anyway. I
that's
love how
right.
you said, share your story. That's what, and for a long time, it's like, I don't want to share my story. Nobody wants to listen to me. No, there's billions of people all over the world want to hear our
That's
stories
right.
and how, like you said, how we overcame them.
Yeah, and how we've been successful, and the things that have set us back, and because it's all about relating to people, right? And then
Relating, yeah.
having them to see you and be able to empathize, sympathize, celebrate, right? That's all the things that we want to help people do.
Hmm.
And no matter what business we have, those pieces are important.
Yeah, getting from where you are to where you want to be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. We want to know how others have become successful so that we can do that too.
Yeah.
So, and if I can do it, hey, anybody can do it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah,
like you're given that inspiration and that, and some practical things as well, tips and stuff along the way. But yeah, people are attracted to that, and people want to know, and they want to, you can lead by example. That's the whole thing, right? You're leading by example. You're showing your story. You're showing how you overcame, and people will
yeah,
be attracted to that, and people want to work with you because of that.
yeah, Yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Well, how do you transition from a side gig to a full-time business?
Well, there's a lot to that, but we'll say that the first thing is to get these 6 pillars in place. And again, you don't need everything under these. You just need the core ones out of each pillar. Once you have those established, the next thing is to get a mentor or a coach to help you create those 6 pillars, either way. But I firmly believe that working with somebody is going to be the answer to helping you get to transitioning from part-time to full-time quicker anyway. I've had coaches that have been, working on their own for 3 years and haven't been able to go full-time yet. But then as soon as they work with a coach, as soon as they get into one of my programs, 6 months later, they're able to, to go into full-time on their own. So it's important to have a mentor or a coach, somebody that's done what you've done or something similar, and they're able to help you, guide you, and be there to support you, and also to hold you accountable to reaching those goals. And the second piece that's really important to make that switch is to have a vision for your business and specific goals. So planning is a big part of that transition. You can't just throw things up on the wall and, hope that they stick. You have to have that plan, put those goals into place, and then start taking the actions that you need to reach the goals to make that transition. Those are the two big pieces, I think.
Yeah, that's beautiful. We must definitely need the vision and the goals, but to take action is another story for some of us. It took me a long time before I could take the action. And again, it's like, just feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And
it can be fearful, like, that's valid, right? It can be a scary thing. But that's also where a mentor or coach can help, because they can help you to take that action. They can give you the support and the accountability to do it.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
You talked about, well, I want to ask you another question about a growth mind versus a fixed mindset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is important too, right? This goes towards being able to take care of yourself first and really build the business that you want to build. You have to have a growth mindset, because a growth mindset basically allows us to do things in a less stressful way and to have a more successful life. Basically, where a fixed mindset, we kind of have the thoughts of, well, this is what I was born with. This is all I can do, right? So it's kind of a closed, fixed mindset. And when you have that kind of mindset and you're trying to build a business and you see that there's things you have to step outside of your comfort zone, you have to go after things that you might not be used to doing, or you have to get on video and you're afraid of getting on video, right? Those are kind of, if you're in a fixed mindset, you'll never get past those, right? You have to really build your mind to be open, to be growth oriented. So fixed mindset kind of thinks of like their innate abilities or the abilities they were born with, and don't really think too much on expanding. Where a growth mindset says, you know what, I might have been born with this ability, but through training or practice or whatever, I can do this. I can learn that. I can move forward. I can be successful. And you need to have a growth mindset in order to have a successful business, in order to even complete those 6 pillars. If you don't have that growth mindset, you're holding yourself back, and you'll find, you'll let fear overcome you. You'll find excuses, and it's just like limiting beliefs, limiting thoughts. And so you don't want that. You want to have that growth. And actually, what I recommend is Carol Dweck's book. She talks about the growth mindset a lot, and how our behaviors are based on our mindset. So if we have a growth mindset, our behaviors are more open, and we're willing to take more risk. And a fixed mindset, we're not. We're like stationary. I'm secure and safe in my own little bubble, and I don't want to go outside of it. So again, really important to have that growth mindset in order to be successful. And that's a process too, creating that, because we're choosing, a growth mindset. You're choosing courage over fear. And that takes courage to choose courage over fear. And it means that we believe in ourselves. We surround ourselves with other like-minded individuals, other growth-minded people. If you're hanging around people with a fixed mindset or a limiting belief mindset, it's going to rub off on you. You're going to stay there with them. But if you're hanging out with the people that are moving forward and growth oriented, that's where you'll be as well. And then again, choosing those goals and going after them, that's part of that growth mindset as well, because you're like, well, I might not be able to reach 100% of these goals, but I'm going for it. Here's my goals, and I'm setting them down, and I'm going to take action to reach them. And then that visioning, that's part of having a growth mindset as well, because you're really thinking about what you want to accomplish in your business and what you can and what you need more training on, where the gap is. Like, what do you have to do to fill that gap? Not just noticing the gap, but taking action to fill the gap. That's part of that growth mindset. And then, just being willing to take risks and be discerning too. It doesn't mean that you go off, and do things that are unreasonable, but you do stretch goals, right? You stretch yourself, you get outside of your comfort zone, and you discern what would make a good decision for you with that growth mindset versus a fix that says, oh, well, I can't make that decision because that's too risky, or that's too this, or that's too that. So that's really the main things about main areas of having a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset.
Wow.
Oh, and being grateful. That's part of a growth mindset as well. Wanted to say that. Having gratitude and being grateful for everything that happens to us and everything that we have in our lives, that opens you up for more. And that's a growth mindset when you're opened up for more.
Yes. I was just telling my sister that this morning when I was talking to her on the phone, working with her in a session.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Even, so it was like, even we were talking about our bills and paying this medical bill, and she was down to her final last payment. I said, when you send that off, say you're grateful that you had the funds for the medical bill and that you're healthy now. And when you seal the envelope, send it off, give it a kiss, bless your bills, bless the payments that you have to send off. Like you said, grateful. It's a two-way street.
Yeah,
and it
absolutely.
will come back to you.
Yes.
Good ways.
It will. We used to actually, way back when I was raising my 3 kids by myself, we would actually pray and talk about the bills. And then we would be thankful for the bills, because that meant that we had a house, we had food, we had heat or air conditioning, we had, like you said, a medical bill, but we're better, so we kind of looked at it on both sides. We prayed for the bills to be paid on time and to have the income to pay them. And then we thanked, and we're grateful that we did have that income.
Yes, that's great. Yeah, it's a tough world to be a single parent nowadays. And when you were a single parent, I was a single parent way back when, but yeah, I tell you, feel the fear, keep moving forward.
That's right.
Have the right mindset. Keep that mindset going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, what are the main characteristics of a growth mindset?
What are the main characteristics?
Yeah.
So that's the having gratitude, taking risk. Well, doing what you love is important too. Having a purpose, a vision, writing down your goals, having those goals that you choose, not that other people choose for you, but choosing goals for yourself. Believing in yourself, hanging around people that, choosing your company, hang around people that have growth mindsets, and choosing courage over fear. Those are the main ones.
Beautiful. Okay, and how can we develop a growth mindset?
Yeah, so there's a lot of ways to do that, but kind of the basics, basically, acknowledge and embrace your imperfections. Like, don't try to avoid them. Don't try to talk them away or whatever. And don't try to hide them, because everybody has weaknesses and imperfections. And if you try to hide them, then you're never going to overcome them. You're never going to acknowledge them. So just acknowledging them and then working towards strengthening those weaknesses. View challenges as opportunities. That's a big part of having a growth mindset. So when things come up that are challenging, then we say, okay, this is an opportunity for me to grow. Just like failure, failure is an opportunity to grow and to learn. And then, try learning different things. So figuring out, okay, what do I need to learn here? What's the gap of my knowledge? And then going out and finding that and find what works for you, not what everybody else is saying works, right? So you want to find something that is going to help you learn what you need to learn. There's also some research that you can do on brain plasticity, where it talks about that the brain isn't fixed. It actually is pliable, like it can grow, it can move, it can change. So because your brain isn't fixed, your mind shouldn't be either. So that's brain plasticity. You can look that up. There's a lot of research on that. And then if you're a person that uses the word fail a lot, like I'm a failure, or I failed at this, that kind of stuff, you want to change that word failing to learning. So instead of saying I'm failing at this, say I'm learning how to do this. Because again, failing has such a negative connotation to it that it can actually bring our energy levels down and create that fixed mindset versus the growth mindset. And then also stop looking for approval from other people and really give yourself approval to do things. The more we look externally, the harder it is to do anything, right? Yes, we all need some support, and it's nice to have that support. It can help things get easier. But if you're looking for outside validation, especially as entrepreneurs or solopreneurs, it's going to be hard to come by. And you will feel left out. You'll feel let down if you're looking for that outside validation, when really all we need to do is give that validation for ourselves. So stop looking for the outside approval and start giving yourself that approval. And then also just value the process over that end result. So in other words, enjoy the journey and not always look at that end result, because sometimes it's what we do during the journey that actually makes the most difference for us versus that end result. So if we can look at all of that as a part of our journey and part of our learning and our life cycle, and draw from it, values and happiness and positive feelings from it, then once you start doing that and that becomes a habit, you'll do that no matter what journey you're taking. And just imagine if every journey you took, you looked for opportunities to be positive and appreciative and grateful versus looking at the negatives. And then basically having that sense of purpose. So sometimes it's hard to figure out what our purpose is, but to do some of the internal work, or if you have to work with somebody else to really figure out what is your purpose, what do you feel the happiest doing, what do you want to devote your energy and your time towards that's really going to pay off for you internally, because that's really where it comes down to having that purpose. And then once we do things that are aligned with that purpose, we feel really successful and really good, and we have that positive growth mindset there. What else? Celebrate your growth, celebrate your, celebrate you. Just celebrate your talents, things that you overcome, things that you accomplish. Look, even a daily task list. Once you're done that daily task list, celebrate it. That's a growth mindset. You're saying, hey, I got all this done. And I don't care if it's one thing, 5 things, or 10 things on that list. You want to celebrate it.
Yeah. Even my age, I still use a checklist. And even when it comes to doing chores and laundry, dishes, whatever, I list them all because I enjoy crossing it off and seeing what I've done and accomplished. But I forget the celebration after. Even if we get our dishes done, whoa, we should be celebrating.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Our mindset needs that.
It does, because otherwise it just becomes like drudgery.
Yeah.
And, who wants to live with that?
Yeah, like you said, we have to enjoy the journey. And I know many entrepreneurs, we get so locked in working so hard and working for others, we forget to enjoy the journey. And I've caught myself doing that too, forgetting to enjoy that. And it's like, oh, I'm so tired of working and not getting anywhere. It's like, oh, I'm forgetting to enjoy the journey. What do I enjoy doing? I'm going to share that with others.
Yeah,
Very, very important.
absolutely. Those are the kind of the top 10 there. 9 or 10, I think I said.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you've certainly taught us a lot of beautiful information that's very important in cultivating a growth mindset for success in business. And Cheryl, you have a free gift to offer for our listeners called Master Your Coaching Biz Checklist.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that, please.
So that checklist has those 6 pillars in it, and then everything that makes up those 6 pillars. So it kind of takes you through that journey that of creating that successful business.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in a PDF download.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I want to remind everybody that below the video is a button that everybody can click on, and they'll take you to that page. And you can also find Cheryl at successfulcoaches.com. We'll have all the information you need underneath the video. So, Cheryl, is there anything you'd like to share with entrepreneurs who are feeling stuck?
Just that, when you're stuck, reach out. Don't stay there by yourself, ruminating over everything. Reach out to a community of like-minded entrepreneurs. If you're a designer, reach out to other designers. If you're a coach, reach out to other coaches. If you're, whatever it is, find a community that you can be a part of that will help you to get unstuck. Because the more you stay in your own head and in your own little world, the harder it's going to be to overcome those things when we're stuck.
Yes, yeah. Well, as a coach and working with entrepreneurs and in the business field, share with us a little bit of what you do, how you can help us.
Yeah. So, well, as a coach, what I do is I actually help you find the resources and the internal or external resources that you need to become unstuck or be successful. To build a business, I go through these 6 pillars and I help you to set up all these 6 different areas of your business. For mindset issues, we just really get down to it. What is going on? What are you telling yourself? What can we replace that with? And then practicing it. And then, again, that support and that accountability is part of the coaching as well. So really just working with people to find out, what do they want? What's their vision, first of all? That's the first thing that we look at. What is it that you want to accomplish in your business and in your life? We look at it together because as entrepreneurs, they're intertwined, right? Our business is our life is our business. And yes, we have to have some boundaries in place so that we have downtime. But typically as entrepreneurs, we're still thinking about our businesses on some level. So just really looking at, okay, where do you want this to be? What's the vision for your life and your business? And then setting priorities. What are the goals here? And what are the priorities that you want to accomplish first? And then how are we going to get there? So I help to fill that gap of where you are and where you want to be.
Well, thank you, Cheryl.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
It was delightful to have you and all the wonderful information that you've shared with us. And you're a blessing to the world. And you work with people all over the world, yes?
Yes, I'm international.
Great.
Yep.
Okay, well, everyone, once again, information is below. Check out Cheryl's information and please get back with the both of us because we'd like to hear about your successes and your story too.
Absolutely.
And good luck in your business and in thriving, and blessings to all of you. Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you.